You're on YouTube. You're live. All right, man. You're on YouTube. I'm going to get off the phone.
How's it going, folks out there? Sorry I'm late. Had some technical difficulties, but let me go ahead and get started for you guys. Save some time. I'm going to talk about a couple of stocks that we got going on right now. My phone's blowing up right now, so forgive me. Talk about the first one today is TRXC. First, I want to thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for your patience, and we'll try to work out the technical difficulties another time. First live stream. First one I got is a TRXC, TRXC. TRXC is basically a medical device company. They're digitizing interface between the surgeon and the patient. So basically, it's robotics. And this has been out for a minute. But basically, what happened was I wanted to put this out to you guys. It kind of caught some fire wind, and it kind of ran up. But they just received approval from Europe, so they're able to actually operate in Europe, and that was the catalyst that got the stock to move up pretty quick for you guys. But they also have some other good news coming. They're waiting to receive FDA clearance in the U.S., so they'll be able to use that for the U.S. channels, which is a great thing as well. The next thing that they also have a clearance coming for the next generation ISO features as well that makes the technology work. And then they also have some peer reviews coming. The peer reviews will basically suffice that the data that they actually have from the robotics is actually good data. So that would kind of work in their favor. And then there's some health economic studies that they're doing as well to further solidify the process. And then they have some clinical performance utilizing the robotics machine. So they actually have some other independent individuals that are actually going to test the machines out and things of that nature, make sure it works. But the key part that you have to take away is from an operating efficiency standpoint, less surgeons in the room, less people in the room. So that minimizes costs for the hospitals as well. And so that's a good thing there. And the ergonomics on it will be great for the employees going forward. And then think about it. We got baby boomers that are getting older. And so that kind of adds some tailwinds to it because of the administration today is focusing on baby boomers to try to make sure that they understand the technology and make sure that they are taken care of. So that's another plus. And also, they actually did a public offering. So the public offering raised like $31.25 million. So from a financial standpoint, they actually getting things in place to roll it out as far as making sure they have a sales team out there and actually profits available to actually roll out the technology. The other thing that I wanted to talk about on it is the stock was trading at 59 cents on December the 30th. Today it's trading at $3.50. So you see how it just changed courses real quick to the upward, and it has some momentum, but it's still under the $5 range. I like to keep the small caps, and the mid caps is my specialty because I like you guys to get X's at exponentially when you put your dollars in. So that's particularly why I stay away from the high dollar stocks, because your money grow a whole lot faster, and I want you guys, individuals, to maximize their dollar. If you think about ISRG, that stock started in 2003, January. If you go back, that stock was a little bit under $5, like $4.74 on that day. Today, it's just a couple of dollars below $800. So if you look at that in the 18-year period, that was 160 times X if you were in that stock at that time to now. So they deal in robotics as well. Not saying that they can reach the same level, but just trying to give you an idea of the headwinds that this actually can have with more people in that industry trying to go ahead and get into the robotics field. So keep that in mind. Also, one thing I failed to mention is I'm not a financial advisor. Make all the decisions from a professional before investing because it is a risky proposition. And I want to take no credit for your gains, so nor do I take any credit for your losses. So make sure you do it at your own risk. The other one that I have for you, that was a shorter one, but this one is really interesting to me because it puts me in the limelight of Uber and Lyft, right? They just got Proposition 22 passed in California, making all the individuals that drive independent contractors as opposed to employees. Then we're in this point here where we have millions of people out of jobs through the recession, right? So people have to find ways to make income. And so that was good for Uber, but I think it's good for this company. And with this company, it's a rideshare rental company, right? Rideshare Rental Inc. The ticker symbol is YAYO. This one is on the over-the-counter market. They're in the technology and software space. They have $64 million market cap. So the business that operates a rideshare platform, an online peer-to-peer booking platform that rents standard passenger electric vehicles to self-employed ride-sharing drivers. And it also manages a fleet of standard passenger vehicles to be rented directly to drivers in the ride-sharing economy through the rideshare platform, right? And I'll tell you what that breaks down and means, right? So January the 4th, the stock was trading at 59 cents. Today it's trading at $2, up 35% today alone. And the volume on it is only 600,000, which is not a lot of volume to move that stock. But basically, here are some of the highlights of the company. A fleet of electric vehicles for use that can be swapped out via app, picking up another charged vehicle in its place in a new location. So the technology allows a driver, if the vehicle is running low from an electrical standpoint, because it's an electrical vehicle, on the app, they can point them in the right direction to a fully charged electric vehicle so they can get in and continue driving. So I thought that was very good as opposed to stopping and having to charge it. The vehicle, they have a vehicle less driver or wanting to be an Uber or Lyft can utilize this vehicle. So if you're a person that actually drives for Uber or Lyft, you use your own vehicle. Well, with this company, you wouldn't have to use your vehicle and put the miles and the wear and tear on it. You can actually get a vehicle from this company yourself. They do a background check. They make sure you're qualified to drive the vehicles. They actually provide the insurance for the vehicle, so you don't have to worry about it being on your insurance plan if you're actually driving that vehicle. So I thought that was a plus. Also, with the corona going on and the easy to transmission, you wouldn't have someone in your personal vehicle putting hands and touching everything, and then you have to go and get it sanitized and clean. You wouldn't put any family members at risk. So again, another key benefit that I saw from that, right? The utilization rate is 95%. So people that are actually using the vehicle for the service is 95% utilization rate. And that is huge from a revenue standpoint, right? From an acceptance standpoint, right? So I thought that there was some great things as well in that. Also, they just announced today, if you go to Yahoo or their website, they just announced today they relocated to another headquarters site, right? Because of the growth in revenue that they actually expected to come in. So when you move from a location to another, and you're talking about growth, you're talking about you have to hire employees from the growth, and then you also there's a market share for your services. So those are some pluses as the headwinds go as well. Another good thing that they do from a cost saving perspective, they actually do maintenance in-house. So as opposed to taking a vehicle to a third party to have service on the vehicle, and of course, when you go take your vehicle out, exponential costs are involved. Well, if they keep everything in-house, where everyone works for them, they don't have to take it anywhere. They set their own prices. They have their own employees. They know what they're paying for them. So that's a great business model if you ask me. And so that's why I thought this would be good. But when you talk about why the stock went from 59 cents to $2, here's something that was really intriguing to me that made me want to invest in this. Quarter 3 revenue was up 31% year over year, 31% over the second quarter of 2020. So here we are in 2021, revenue just increased. Gross margins grew 42%. Gross margins grew 42%. That's great. It was 38% in Q3 from last year. So it shows that they're still growing, which is good. But the major key takeaway, the CEO went out and he bought 5 million shares of the company, right? At the time he did that, the stock was like 75 cents. He actually paid $3 per share. Again, the stock was at less than 75 cents, and he was willing to pay $3 per share, which equated to $15 million. So they just basically put $15 million into cash infusion for the company. So this individual believes in the company that much that he was willing to put $15 million out of his own pocket into the company. So that's someone that believes in the business model. And so I want to believe in the business model. So that's why I thought that was a good thing to bring up. So I know that one was long, but I want to make sure you get the key takeaways. So if you do your research, or when you do your research, you'll understand what this has going on. So here's the last one that I have for you. This is another one that I was looking at. It caught some headwinds. I said, let me get it out there. So the impromptu, let me stream this. Nothing's rehearsed, as you see. It's last minute, but I wanted to get it out to you folks. So here's one. It's called NDRA. And the ticker symbol is NDRA. NDRA. The NDRA Life Sciences. ENDRA Life Sciences, Inc. They're in the healthcare, diagnostic, and research industry. They have a market cap of $67 million. They were trading at 87 cents on January the 8th. 87 cents January the 8th. Here we are today, and it's trading at $2.04. It was up over 17% just today alone. So again, it caught some headwinds, and I wanted to get it out. So what they are focused on is early detection of liver disease. Early detection of liver disease. So what that is excess fat in the liver is the root cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and then which is NAFLD. So I'll be saying those letters, NAFLD, and then the next one is non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Again, steatohepatitis, which is NAS disease. If you deal in biotech and you know when anyone talks about going through clinical trials with success in NAS disease on the stock market, their stock flies up. Why? Because there's no cure for it yet. So what this does is actually detects it, the liver damage, before it gets worse, where it cannot be irreversible. This detects it ahead of time, which can reverse the effects of it. Now, globally, 1 billion people are affected by this. Globally, 1 billion people. The U.S. alone spends $100 billion annually treating on this disease, right? $1 billion annually treating. This device, in my mind, if it can prevent it and detect it before it gets there, I think that would be great and acceptable, because the revenue would actually go to this company on the detection, because it would stop it from getting there. So as far as a cure goes, if a cure never occurs, or if it takes 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and this company can detect it before it gets to the stages where it cannot be irreversible, I think that's huge tailwinds for the company. So it also can progress, this liver disease can actually progress to advanced fibrosis, cirrhosis, and cancer. Again, irreversible. Thus, diagnosing these conditions as soon as possible is key, because it can save lives. I just talked about diseases that can kill people. This can actually save lives. So this NAFLD is condition closely associated with obesity, diabetes, hepatitis, and some genetic predispositions where fat accumulates in the liver. So there can be some misdiagnosis on this as well, because of the similarities of these other things. If left untreated, it can progress to NAS disease, tissue scarring, cirrhosis is cell death, and then liver cancer. The only current tools available today for diagnosing and monitoring NAFLD are MRIs and invasive surgery biopsy. MRIs are really expensive. As if you ever had MRI, they can be expensive. This device is 50 times less the cost. 50 times less the cost of an MRI. So there's cost savings for the individual consumer. There's cost savings for hospitals as far as the labor that they would be paying people to be in the room. So that's great. The technology is called TAEUS, TAEUS. That is the device. It measures the fat to detect the disease for early treatment. So that's what it's called, TAEUS. The device works with ultrasound machines, but it measures the liver fat in the staging. So it measures the liver fat to determine if it's developing any of those ailments for the NASH disease or the NAFLD that helps prevent that from occurring by detecting it early. So early detection. It has visuals, tissues, temperature during surgery and identifies arteria, plaque, or internal bleeding. So it identifies a plaque in arteries and internal bleeding, which helps. So if there's any complications, they can figure that out before that actually gets to a worsening state for the individual. So again, another health benefit. It was just now recently granted 13 U.S. patents on its Taser platinum technology just this week. So again, that's probably another tailwind why the stock shot up so much. IP portfolio has 78 assets and it continues to grow, right? So they're still growing their portfolio, right, from their IP, which is good. So they're not resting on their laurels. And then NDRA participated in some conferences recently regarding this device, and it actually expanded its sales pipeline to over 4,000 clinicians. So there's getting some visibility on this that would make it widely accepted. If the results of it being approved through the FDA, it would be awesome. It renewed its collaboration with GE Healthcare by 2 years, and a relationship started in 2016. So they have a relationship already with GE Healthcare, a major professional institution, right? That's believing in this technology apparently and see the benefits of it. I don't know, speculation. Would that mean that they would buy them out? I don't know, invest in this company from a financial standpoint to have some sort of ownership? Speculation. I don't know. But again, I thought it was good to bring up. It is also cleared for sale in European countries. So it's also cleared for sale. So it shows that it's working in other countries. It's just that they have to go through the FDA process here in the United States to get it to work. So that's one European country already approved, right? They're working on the U.S. If the U.S. get approved, right, then that's another North America, right? So in December, they submitted the application to the FDA. So again, I talked about a $100 billion market for treatment annually in the U.S. So again, that's another good opportunity there. And then the device is designed to work with over 1 million ultrasound systems in use globally. So a hospital doesn't really have to alter too much to their ultrasound that they have. They can use this device alongside it or in conjunction with it. So there's really nothing that they have to do from a financial standpoint with the current MRIs that are existed today, over 1 million of them. Also, they're ready to get this thing to launch because they signed a distribution agreement on their system in Vietnam in anticipation of the FDA approval. So they already have an exclusive distribution in Vietnam to actually do that. The sales are expected to begin as soon as approved by the FDA. They're ready to get this thing in the market. They just need the seal of approval. They probably got them on the shelf in the stock rooms ready to go, right? So then it's the Southeast Asian market. So you got Southeast Asian market, which is a big market as we know. North America is a big market, and European is a big market. 3 big markets with the ability to expand as they go along. So acceptance should be great on this right here. Of course, I'm reading this. And then they're so sure they're actually doing more clinical trials with a hospital in France, right? They're doing more clinical trials to bolster the proof of concept and the proof that this thing currently works. So they're willing to just add to the firepower along with the peer reviews that are coming and things of that nature. right? So I think this is a good opportunity. It's all these stocks are low dollar amounts. But if an individual wants to invest, make their decision to get in, it's great. But let me remind you of one thing as I'm closing off, right? You guys remember probably about 2 weeks ago, there was I brought something to the room. The ticker symbol was CELZ. C is in Charlie, E is in Echo, L is in Lima, Z is in Zebra, right? If you remember or you looked that up, this company said they can reverse the effects of liver damage, right? And so we're waiting to see how that go, right? If anyone that got into that stock, I'm still in that stock. But imagine having a company in your portfolio that actually reverses liver damage, but having a company in your portfolio that actually can prevent liver damage. So to me, it was a no-brainer to say, man, I can burn from both ends of the candle by having both of these in my portfolio. So if one works, great. If the other doesn't work, great. If both work, great. Because again, some people are going to be farther along in their damage to the liver because this device is not actually out to prevent it. It's a lot of treatment. And the CELZ in this particular company here, NDRA, I think it's great to have in a portfolio. Made sense. May not make sense to you, makes sense to me. But think of this. I'm going to bring this up. Kathy Wood, right? Everybody know about ARK Investments, right? This person is a genius, I guess, when you're talking about what she invests in. She invests in disruptive technology in all arenas, right? I think this last one I just talked about, Indra, I think that's disruptive technology because you're talking about preventing something before it gets to the stages where there is no cure. And so when it gets to the regular big boards, if it gets there and it gets past $5 and it gets the win, I'm thinking like, okay, Kathy would definitely be interested in getting into something like this. In my opinion, this is not fact. But I think it's a great segue to bringing that up as well. So again, I talked about 3 stocks today that I think is great to be in one's portfolio. There in mind, NDRA, which was the last one. The next one was the rideshare company, YAYO, YAYO. Ayo to my boy Don X-Man out there, if you hear this, because it went with the name. And actually, my boy Jarvis for actually getting me set up here with these technical difficulties here. And the last one was TRXC, TRXC. That's Transportation Romeo X-Ray Charlie. Again, thank you guys for your time. I had some more information that I wanted to share, but I'm not going to take your time because I had some technical difficulties, and hopefully this won't happen again. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell people. You want to make sure you get your millionaire mindset right? So keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind because that's how we do. Stock Paper Chasers 2021, we coming. Y'all better watch out. Peace, people.